Namaskara and welcome to a village story. One woman's journey from city chaos to village calm. I am Akshita and this podcast is my journey from the noise of the city to the stillness of the soil. So grab a cup of chai, settle in, and let's begin. I grew up with a lot of luxury. I say this now after living in the village for more than 7 years. If you had asked me back in 2017, I wouldn't have seen it this way. Like most of us city folks, I grew up with water running at the turn of a tap, lights steady through the day and night, or at least backed up by a UPS. If we needed anything, there was always a shop just around the corner. These conveniences were so stitched into everyday life that I never paused to notice them. But in the village, those small certainties loosen their grip. Water from taps becomes a comfort. A fan running on a hot summer afternoon feels like a gift. Just to have a corner shop nearby is a faraway dream. What was once invisible in the rush of city life begins to glow with meaning here. I have already spoken about water in my earlier episode, but there is a part I left out. For me, fetching water from the common tank was a Herculean task. One, I dreaded the zillion questions from women at the tank when I had not yet learned the art of open conversations. Two, I didn't know how to carry a pot full of water. It felt too heavy, and I feared my clumsy attempts would become the next round of gossip. So, I struck a deal with my husband. Fetching water was one thing I would never do. And being the crafty man he is, not wanting to stand out as the only man at the tank, he devised a clever trick. Sneaking out at night, connecting the pipe, and filling up all our containers while everyone else slept. An honest confession, I have never fetched water from the village tank till date. While I never carried the pots, I was endlessly curious about the conversations and the quarrels that unfolded at the tank. More on that another time when I speak about community. Food too became a luxury. I came from a family where meals were elaborate. Varieties at every sitting, flavors rich and wholesome. Here in Huvinalli, food was simply a two-time affair to fill hunger. My mother-in-law, and naturally the family she raised, did not fuss over taste or variety. The menu revolved around akki roti, mudde, sambar and rice. Idlis and dosas became luxuries. At first, I was enchanted by the steaming rotis and mudde. But slowly, disappointment set in. Was this all there would be? And with my limited cooking skills back then, I couldn't imagine making a proper meal myself. Restaurants weren't a solution either. The nearest one, 4 kilometers away, had only three items: egg rice, chicken kebab, and omelette. That grew old fast. And so, necessity became the mother of invention. My cooking journey, one that I had never imagined for myself, began out of pure frustration. And that's the thing about village life. What the city gives you so casually, the village makes you earn. In the process, you learn new skills, new patience, and new ways of looking at the everyday. I want to share those little shifts, how the basics of city life, when stripped away, quietly turn into luxuries, and how those luxuries shape the way I have grown to live here. Electricity, a word we hardly pause to think about in the city. Sure, we have all faced power cuts, but they are usually short, an hour or two at the most. And on rare occasions, there is a scheduled maintenance cut from morning to evening, with plenty of advance notice so we can plan around it. Most homes have UPS anyway, so the inconvenience is almost never real. We have never truly lived without power. But in the village, especially during the rains, it is a different story altogether. I have seen stretches of 2, even 3 days without electricity. I remember one such time clearly. Our mixer had been dead for 3 days, and I found myself crouched next to my mother-in-law, grinding masala on a stone. I was irritated, annoyed, frustrated, practically boiling over. I grumbled about the inefficiency of the power department, scoured the internet for grievance numbers, even drafted emails to the power company. Meanwhile, my husband watched me with a mischievous grin, and my in-laws sat back, amused by my little tandava. The power cut didn't seem to bother them in the least. Life carried on for them, as if nothing was amiss. Phones were dead too. But my husband had a simple fix. He would carry our phones to a neighbor's house with a UPS, charge them, and bring them back. The ladies from around the village dropped in for a chat, laughed a little, and then went about their routines. And here I was, pacing around, unable to bear the disruption. Eventually, I surrendered. Grudgingly, I picked up the broom, mopped the floors, washed utensils, dusted the house, stumbled into cooking, and walked up to the farm to see what I could do. Slowly, I found a rhythm. Wake up, clean, cook, wash, then wander to the fields. I would help my father-in-law with the one cow, sit under the sky watching the clouds drift, enjoy the wind, and on the way back, stop to chat with the village ladies. And just like that, in the span of a week, power cuts stopped bothering me. I would plug in my phone, notice there was no electricity, shrug, and carry on with my day. What once felt like a crisis became just another detail in the background of life here. That was about electricity in the house. But when it comes to electricity for the farm borewells, the story is very different. Out here, the men of the village are the linemen, the electricians, and the repair crew all rolled into one. My knowledge of electricity has grown more in these years than I ever imagined it would. And farm power cuts? They are never tolerated, especially in the summers. When a farmer has standing crops in his field and the borewell motor won't run because of a power cut, there is no question of waiting for an official lineman to arrive. He takes matters into his own hands. It is a regular scene. One man calls out, gathers 4 or 5 others, and off they march with a long plastic pipe, at the end of which is a hook they have clearly fashioned themselves. Together, they head straight to the transformer, the very place where all the trouble usually begins, and set about fixing it. The words flying around in these moments are a language of their own. Jump hogide, kit hogide. Let's reconnect those. Don't even ask me for the technical meaning of these phrases. I only know exactly what they point to on the electric pole and nothing more. And that is where I saw the contrast most clearly. A power cut left me helpless, filing complaints, hunting down grievance numbers, waiting for someone else to restore the service. Here, there is no such waiting. When the power goes, people rise. They gather, they improvise, they climb poles and reconnect wires with the ease of someone tightening a loose screw at home. What once felt like a luxury handed over by a system is in the village something owned, shared, and restored by the community itself. This is the thought flow for almost every discomfort people here experience. They own it, change it if they can, and then go about life without any more discussion. For someone like me, who once got annoyed, grumbled, and stomped about at every small inconvenience, this was a complete shift. Over time, I found myself changing too. I began to look at discomforts differently. First, understanding the situation, then seeing if there was a way to work it out. If there was a solution, I tried it. If not, I simply moved on. But let's not mistake this acceptance for resignation. These past 8 years have shown me that my village is anything but passive. When they know something can be changed, they come together with full force. I have seen women, with all their might, demand and secure a proper road for the village. I have seen the community unite to get what was needed, no matter the odds. The difference is in knowing where their strength can move mountains and where it cannot. And when it cannot, they don't waste their days fretting. They carry on with life with an ease that comes from trusting both themselves and the rhythm of the world around them. And so, what I once called luxuries, water at the tap, electricity on demand, food of my choice, turned into teachers. They taught me patience, resilience, and most of all, forced me to learn new skills like cooking and repairing. Before I sign off, I want to leave with a small tip. The next time you switch on a light, open a tap, or order your favorite meal without a second thought, pause. Notice it. Appreciate it. These little certainties are the quiet gifts we often forget to notice. If ever a small discomfort pops up in your own life, a power cut, a delayed delivery, or an empty grocery shelf, ask yourself, can I change it? If yes, do it. If not, let it go. Life feels lighter that way. If you're going through your own season of frustrations, stand up, gather 5 to 6 folks, make your own pipe with a hook, and march on to repair those frustrations. And if it is beyond your might, just shrug and build your life around it with a smile. Thank you for walking this journey with me, for listening, feeling, and holding space for this story. In the next episode, I will share certain community stories, bringing out the difference between the rural man and woman. If this episode spoke to you, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please drop a comment. Until then, keep breathing through your own seasons of change. Namaste and take care.